Hey, yo, what up? Welcome back. This is not a podcast. This is just my thoughts with Rob Markman. Shout out to everybody who watches the channel. Please like, please subscribe, please share, please comment. I wanted to circle back on this Hot 97 Funkmaster Flex, DJ Enuff drama because there's kind of like a bit of a civil war. Civil war is probably dramatic going on at Hot. A lot of infighting, right? A lot of picking sides. People love DJ Enuff. I said in my last video, DJ Enuff is a great guy. Is a great guy. And a lot of people love him because he's done so much for folks. So people are riding for DJ Enuff. But then there's also another side of this story that's the business side of this story that I thought was interesting and responsible to point out. And Ebro and the Ebro in the Morning show kind of put a lot of things in perspective a couple of days ago. And I just didn't want to leave this story hanging. So I want to recap really quickly. Last week on Thursday, Funk Flex announced that there was going to be a change at the station, and he took to Twitter and he wrote, "This Monday, Labor Day, September 1st, will be with," he should have put "will be," but it says "with be my last show on Hot 97 at 7 p.m. All things come to the end of an era that I enjoyed very much. Super enjoyed it all." The post was misleading because he made it seem like he was leaving the station when in actuality he was just leaving the 7 p.m. slot that he's held down for so many years, and Flex will now be doing. And so Monday happened already, and now he is currently in the 5 to 11 p.m. slot, 6-hour slot. The next day, we're going back in time. We're recapping. The next day, DJ Enuff posted to IG that he will be doing his last broadcast on that day. That was Friday, after 27 years of service at the station, that he was going to be doing his last show. So Enuff announced that it was his actual last show that morning on Friday, and artists like DJ Khaled and Fat Joe went up to celebrate him, and a ton of DJs and station personnel was there to see him off. Then TMZ caught DJ Enuff on his way out and broke a story basically that DJ Enuff believes that it was Funk Flex who got him fired. First, Enuff in his interview was really diplomatic about it. He said, that he guessed it was time for him to go, and the direction that the station wanted to go, I guess, wasn't fitting with him. And the reporter asked him about a rumor that Flex was the reason he was pushed out. And Enuff said, maybe, I think so. I can't prove it, but in my heart, that's what I feel happened. He said he hadn't had a convo with Flex. He admitted that he felt slighted and he felt he didn't deserve that from Flex. He credited Flex as a creator of the station. Flex was one of the first DJs up at Hot 97 and really foundation for that station as a DJ, absolutely. And he credited Flex as someone who gave a lot of opportunity. So Flex took to the radio on Monday night. He denied that he had Enuff fired. He took the high road. He said he still loves Enuff and still thought of Enuff as a brother. If you ask people kind of around them, a lot of people acknowledge that they have love for each other. They have history, but they have a turbulent history. There's love there, but there's other feelings and other things that have happened between them. But Flex said that TMZ can't make me hate my brother. And he said that he felt that somebody else set Enuff up with TMZ, and he doesn't blame Enuff for that. He alluded that Enuff had some snakes next to him. He called them Snake 1 and Snake 2. Flex didn't name them, but shifted the blame towards some snakes in Enuff's crew. Enuff has the crew, the heavy hitters, a DJ crew. Boom. So fast forward to Tuesday morning. This is the more current thing. Ebro in the Morning, shout out to Ebro in the Morning, the whole show. Their cast addressed it. So that's Ebro, that's Rosenberg, that's Laura Styles, Shawnee Culture, and DJ Kast One, man. All people that I know personally, man. All people that I have a lot of love and respect for. Ebro, they have that segment, right? Congratulations, you played yourself, where they kind of, give, you played yourself. They give a shout out to somebody who played himself. Ebro gave the congratulations, you played yourself, to all of Hot 97, all of the DJs, the personalities at Hot, for all of the infighting and blaming. Ebro said, that the new VC ownership of Hot 97 doesn't give a damn about investing in the station, and that they have no studio, that they've been cutting staff. It's been all types of cuts and no investment and no interest in growing the station. Hot 97 is owned by a company called MediaCo. Just for your information, he talked about TT Torres, somebody who I'm very fond of, being pushed out of the station. That happened quietly a few weeks ago, maybe about a month ago. Shout out to TT. I know TT got her own story to tell, and she should be able to tell that on her own time. But And I actually was texting with TT the other day, just on some how you doing shit and whatever. But shout to TT. TT also an amazing person. Ebro said that while they're going at each other, Flexes and Enuff and whose side is who, that management, Media Co, condensed and expanded the time slots to save money on salaries. So Ebro in the morning show got extended an hour. Flex is doing 5 to 11, which is a long time. Nessa's doing the afternoon. Drewski, I think, is doing like 2 hours in the day. And the way Ebro kind of broke it down mathematically, he was like, yo, if you don't see what's going on, they're saving salaries. They're cutting people because, they want to say, they don't want to invest in the station. And so, enough whatever gets cut and other people get cut and they save money on salaries because they're kind of penny pinching. Ebro predicted that they're going to start cutting the morning show, whether that happens or not. But again, that's that whole class: Ebro, Laura Stiles, Rosenberg, Kast One, Shawnee Culture. DJ Juanito is regularly on the morning show. Shout out to DJ Juanito. Ebro is predicting that they're going to start cutting the morning show. Whether that happens, we'll see. DJ Kast One, who is my guy, DJ Kast One, another just incredible human being. First of all, hell of a DJ, incredible human being. He's part of Enuff's Heavy Hitters crew. Dog, I love Kast One. I can't say enough about Kast One. Such a dope DJ and a great dude. Kast One did criticize Flex, however, for that misleading tweet about his last show and how Flex, with that tweet that he initially wrote, like kind of stepped on Enuff's moment. Kast said that if Flex loved Enuff like he said he did, then he wouldn't have done it like that. And he just said he was disgusted by the whole situation. Kast also alluded that there's a real story to tell about Enuff and what happened to him, but it wasn't his story to tell, and that Flex didn't tell the real story. So that whole Snake 1 and Snake 2. There's also a rumor that DJ Camelo, who has stayed with the station, DJ Camelo is partnered with Nessa. Camelo, another man, NYC legend. Shout out to Camelo. Another, just dope dude, man. There was a rumor, I guess, that Camelo was one of the snakes that Flex alluded to, and Kast said that notion was ridiculous. So that's where it's at, right? It's the infighting. It's the and Ebro talked about it. He was like, yo, this is getting people clicks. This is like sensationalized. A lot of people, making money off of this. I got views off of this. Hot 97 is reporting on this on his Instagram. He more talked about the parent company. He was like, they're going to capitalize off of this anyway, because now more and more people are clicking onto the YouTube trying to see what's going on. People are clicking on the Instagram to see what's going on, and they're finding ways to monetize against it. But there seems to be a story, and again, I had heard rumors. I talked about this the last time. It is not my place to tell. I don't know what's true. I don't know the inner workings of Hot 97. We'll see if those rumors, or if that story actually comes out, or if Enuff expands on what he believed happened, or if somebody else expands on it. But the more interesting thing to me was what Ebro said, and I think it's a thing that obviously affecting radio, and we know radio as a medium now has a lot of competition with podcasting and other audio formats. Like, radio is not king like it was, not as dominant. I think, the folks on radio now have to work harder to compete. But I think this is true for all media. This is not just me saying it on radio. For me, working in the digital media space, starting in the journalism space, there's so much to compete with, because you're competing. I talked about this before. Like, you're not just competing with other radio stations. Now, every radio station, YouTube is important, right? So you're competing with like Joe Budden podcast, but also like Joe Rogan and TMZ and Genius, Worldstar. Like, I don't know. It's just so much more media for folks to choose from. So what I'm saying is, in the radio space, in the media space, like, I think folks have to do more. They have to work so much harder to be successful, when maybe 20 years ago, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, when radio was kind of like the only game in town, when there wasn't digital, when there wasn't a TikTok to compete against, for people's attention, and there wasn't a Hulu, and there wasn't a Spotify, and there wasn't so much entertainment in people's faces that people have fewer choices. Now it's a bit harder, right? But I think the story is and Ebro makes a great point, when he talks about the parent company of Hot 97 not really caring about the culture. You know, I talked about in my last video how Hot 97 means something for me. Growing up as a kid in New York, this was the first dedicated hip hop radio station 24/7. Prior to Hot 97, we didn't have a station that played hip hop 24/7. You know what I'm saying? We had BLS, which played hip hop at night, and Kiss, which played hip hop at night when Red Alert was on. Chuck Chill Out was a big radio DJ back in the day, and you know, Mr. Magic and you know, it was all these legendary shows. Stretch and Bobbito, legendary show. But Hot 97 was the first all format hip hop station in New York City. So I have fond memories of the brand, of the legacy. You know, and seeing it like this is like, damn, man. Like I remember when that was everything. When they turned on the lights at Hot, when it transferred from a freestyle and dance station over to a hip hop station, that meant everything to us. And that happened in about 92 and 93, right? So you got to think about in terms of history. 93 is pretty late. That's like Enter the Wu-Tang. But think about what we missed. So in terms of like Great Adventures of Slick Rick, Public Enemy's debut, Run DMC, all of their albums in the 80s, the Raising Hells and the Run DMC and the King of Rock and you know, NWA and just all the seminal Big Daddy Kane, Eric B. and Rakim, like all of the shit that really helped prop up hip hop in the 80s. There was radio, they got played on radio, but it was an hour at night. There wasn't like, so to come all the way in 93, like 88 was an incredible year. EPMD, like I might just do a whole video on what came in 1988, like the records that came in 1988 and why 1988 was so important. But 1988 was an explosion of classic hip hop records, classic after classic after classic. And New York didn't have a all day radio station to support that. That's crazy. So 93 is kind of late in the game when you really think about all that preceded it. And that's why Hot is so important. And you think about a brand that I know that I love, that I feel like other New Yorkers love, other hip hop fans in the city love. And here's Ebro talking about, well, you have an ownership that doesn't care about it, or doesn't care to invest it, and it's a dollar and cents thing. And I think that is affecting a lot of professionals in the media space, a lot of professionals in the record business, and I think it hurts the fans. I think the fans get less and they get cheated. Just an interesting story. Again, we started with this, and there is a salaciousness to it, a Flex versus Enuff, but then I think there's a sadder business story, because Enuff is going to be all right. Enuff is going to figure it out, man. Enuff is a hell of a DJ and is a great guy. I believe Enuff is going to figure it out. Flex is always going to be Flex, but you know, I don't know if Hot 97 as an institution, what happens to them in the future, but we'll wait and see. But I just wanted to commend Ebro for that, because I think Ebro put an interesting perspective while everybody was getting caught up in the verses and the who said what and who did what to who, and I think that's still important. You know, for whatever closure Enuff needs and Flex needs and all the other people who were unceremoniously let go, or you know, Enuff had a ceremony though, man. They showed the community showed Enuff a lot of love, even if the station did it. So all of that will resolve itself. But there's a bigger story here at play too about what happens to the station and what happens to some of our legacy brands and institutions. So just wanted to shout Ebro out and the whole Ebro in the Morning staff for putting that in perspective, because it's real. All right. Let me know what you think in the comments, man. Till the next time. Peace.